Hey everybody, this is SoCal Mike, better known as the Big Game Hunter, also founder of GameGavel.com, the auction site for gamers, and part of the ensemble podcast, RetroGamingRoundup.com, that you guys should all check out if you're into retro gaming. Got tons of great interviews. Our shows are 5 to 6 hours long most months, and you've got a couple of years of back catalog to catch up on. So there's a lot of great stuff, a lot of great interviews we've done with some of the retro gaming luminaries in the past. But I wanted to do something a little different from my normal Big Game Hunter videos. I thought I'd tell some of you subscribers a little bit more about me. You can see some of my arcade gaming collection that I've got down here. But one thing I wanted to spend this episode on, and the reason I'm doing this is because there's kind of a break in the Big Game Hunter shows because of the weather out here in SoCal over the last few weeks, as well as the holidays. A lot of the swap meets that I go to have been closed, so I haven't been able to get any new footage. So instead of going to the swap meets, I've been scouring Craigslist looking for some good deals, and I wanted to show you guys one of the great deals I came across this week. Essentially for $150, I got all of these boxes that you see on the floor here, as well as a lot of this other stuff, all came in this lot. So I want to show you guys what came in this $150 lot. Starting with these two World of Warcraft items over here. Of course, I believe this is the first World of Warcraft for the PC that came out. I'm not sure if this thing has ever been played. It all looks brand new. But what I really wanted to show you guys, and what I'm really excited about, is this World of Warcraft, the Burning Crusade Collector's Edition. Now what's really cool about this is inside here, there's a book. Of course, the game and the game instructions and everything else. I don't know what was over here. If any of you guys have this, what was over there? I'm really curious. But what's really special is this book. Now, this book is special for a couple of reasons. First off, it's just chock full of, images and pictures from the game and artwork and original artwork, all sorts of things. It's really great. But what's special about this is this book happens to have the autographs of a lot of the higher-ups and the people responsible for developing World of Warcraft. We got Ron Pardo over here, some of the other people that helped create and create this awesome game, of course. So I've never been a big World of Warcraft fan because I'm not a PC gamer, but I thought that was pretty cool to have a book signed by all of those people. I've been looking a lot of them up online, and pretty much everybody that was anybody that has to do with this game had signed that book. So that may be worth $150 just by itself. Moving over to the next box of stuff that came in this lot, all of this Game Boy stuff. A lot of Game Boy boxed Game Boy games that you can see here. All of these are complete with instructions, and of course the game and the boxes. Some of them are still sort of wrapped, like Tumble Pop here. Some more boxed games. A brand new and boxed cleaning kit. RC Pro-Am. You guys remember this is one of the, I think, fewer games that you could hook up 4 players using the 4-player GBA or Game Boy adapter, which a couple of them came in this box. Another Tetris Attack, Gex, another Wario World or Wario Land 2, Driver, still sealed, Shadowgate Classics. A whole bunch of accessories. There's 3 Game Genies in here. There's quite a few loose games in here. There was an import Mario and Yoshi. A couple Game Boy cameras. A couple boxed Game Boy Pockets you can see down here. And there's about 4 or 5 Game Boy systems. The 4-player adapter. All sorts of stuff. So that was pretty damn cool. Another thing I wanted to show you guys that is kind of obscure is this bung exchanger. Now, I had never seen one of these before. This looks like it has a serial port on it. You would plug this into your computer, and it would allow some kind of independent developers to kind of make their own games and actually save the games as you're making them to these cards and actually use them on a, play them on a real Game Boy. I believe that there was even some, developers that started using this because it was easier than the development system than what Nintendo made you use. Of course, people also soon discovered you could flash ROMs on these things and pirate games. So, of course, Nintendo wasn't too happy with that, and it was discontinued. Coming over here, We've got this cool disc that allows you to play import games on your Dreamcast, and it came with a few import games that you see here. My light in the garage just went out. I'll go turn it back on. Shenmue. Now this is the import version, but what's really cool about it is it's got the jukebox soundtrack, which I thought was pretty cool. Some more import games there. Hold on a minute. Sorry about this. Coming over to this box, we got a nice Nintendo system. We got quite a few Nintendo games in here. Nothing real rare, but again, everything's in really great shape. Probably 30 games. King's Knight, Kickle Cubicle, Ninja Gaiden, Kari Warriors. I mean, there's some good games in here. Of course, the system and everything, and the zapper. This box over here was just a miscellaneous stuff. Got probably 5 or 6 Sega CD games. Got some Sega Master System games. N64 wallet, never been used. Some boxed Super Nintendo game. Some N64 games. PlayStation Game Shark. Don't think that thing, it looks like it's never been used. Chameleon Twist. Down here we got a whole bunch of PlayStation games. Omega Boost, guys. What a great game that was. You remember that? Lots of soundtracks, you know, weird soundtracks. Original soundtrack for this. Some of these games, Parasite Eve remixes. Eve soundtrack. Tales of Eternia original soundtrack. Live at the Middle East, mini bosses. Goonies, Mega Man. Looks like I might have some new stuff to put on RetroArcadeRadio.com. You guys want to check that out? It's our online streaming video game music site. Some good stuff in there. Dot Hack soundtracks. There's some Game Boy Neo Geo Pocket games in here. Coming over here, we got kind of a Sega Genesis lot. Quite a few Sega Genesis box games, probably 20 or so, and a system down there. This old Game Gear battery pack. How many of you guys remember slashing that thing onto your belt and walking around? That thing weighs about 2 pounds. What a joke. Jesus. This was a PS2 Fat. Whole bunch of stuff. There's some more PC games and stuff down underneath all of that. Pretty cool here. Some Sega Saturn import games. You know, pretty damn cool. So that was neat. Now I want to show you some of the stuff that I decided to keep out of this lot. Picked up a really cool game. This game's great, guys. If you've never heard of Puzzle Master for the Game Boy Color, you want to check this out. It's a wonderful puzzler game. This one happens to still be sealed. You know, I always hate this because I never know if I should take it out or leave it in there. I suppose I'll leave it sealed. Picked up a box Game Boy. This thing's like brand new. Unfortunately, I tested it. It does have the screen rot along the right-hand side of the screen. Drives me nuts. I don't think any of these are going to be working that much in the future, guys. If you have one that the screen's great on, consider yourself very lucky. There's about 6 of them in this lot. A lot of them look brand new. They all had the screen rot. ColecoVision games. Squish 'em Sam. Kind of that game's about 15 to 20 bucks by itself a lot of times. Nothing else here. Real rare. One of the Game Boy 4-player adapters, I'm keeping that. An SP case. This really cool Acclaim remote dual turbo controller for the Genesis from Acclaim. I thought that was pretty cool. I'm going to try that out. A couple boxed N64 games, Tetrasphere and Mario 64. This really cool old school handheld game, N-Tech Space Invaders. It's a really great game, guys. Some Genesis games, Bimini Run. Whoops, I got some more in there. I guess we'll look at this. Bimini Run. That was a great game. I mean, how many games do you take the control of a power boat, speedboat? That was pretty dang cool at the time. Spy vs. Spy, one of my favorite games for the Master System. Picked up 3 games for the GameCube. Godzilla, Destroy All Monsters, Alien Hominid, which is a great game, and Soul Calibur 2. Again, this was all 150 bucks, everything I'm showing you. This really cool FM receiver for the original Game Boy. That thing's got to be somewhat rare, I think. I thought that was pretty cool. Neo Turf Masters for the Neo Geo Pocket. Adventure Island for the original Game Boy. Picked up some Dreamcast game there, Space Channel 5. Great game. I think I already have it, but I can't remember. This one's in really nice shape, so I might replace it. Some TurboGrafx games. Great PlayStation game, guys. If you guys have never played Wild 9, you'll never enjoy torturing your enemies more than in this game. You have to pick that thing up. It's a phenomenal game. More TurboGrafx stuff. Nothing real rare. Sidearms, Last Alert, Final Zone. Again, more Genesis games. Thunder Force 3, pretty great game. Smash TV. Underneath all of that's the packaged Ridge Racer 4 and JogCon controller. Now that thing's never been used. There goes my light again. Sorry for the low production values on this. So that's pretty cool. That thing's never been used, and I've always wanted one of those. I've never ever even touched a JogCon controller. I've still not even taken that one out of its wrapping because it's perfectly preserved in there. Over there you see the Dreamcast mouse, which I totally forgot there was a mouse for that thing, and the Dreamcast keyboard, of course, for typing to the dead, and one of the ASCII Super NES arcade sticks. Not much left. We got a box full of GameCubes. There's about 4 or 5 GameCubes in there. And in this box here, we've got a couple of Xbox systems, one in its box and another one, and a bunch of controllers. Supposedly all this stuff works, guys, so it's pretty amazing. I'm out of breath. There was a lot of stuff to talk about there. So anyway, all of that stuff was 150 bucks. You know, the autographed Blizzard book, all of this stuff, pretty amazing. Some of this stuff's up on GameGavel right now. This whole lot of Game Boy stuff, I started it at a penny with no reserve. This NES lot, again, we started it at a penny with no reserve. Like I said, a lot of the stuff we find on the Big Game Hunter show, it starts at a penny or $1 with no reserve. So you want to check out GameGavel.com, the auction site. Help us compete against eBay. We all hate eBay these days, so we're doing what we can to give you guys a better place to buy and sell. There's no listing fees. It's very inexpensive to sell on, and you can have your own company, your own collector store there, and all sorts of things you can do on GameGavel. Check it out. Check out our forums. We got some of the best gaming forums around. Very, very friendly. Lots of people to interact with. So check out all the things that that we're trying to dish you guys. One of these days, I'll give you a rundown of my personal collection and my arcade game collection, and then we'll also talk about what is inside this cabinet, which is, again, all of my consoles and my games and all sorts of things in there that you definitely want to you'll want to check out in the future. So until next time, this is Alf and ET signing off. Hope you guys enjoyed the show, and we'll be back with some new Big Hunter episodes, hopefully by the end of January.